Hello, hello. Welcome back to The Outsider's Perspective. My name's Ollie, and here's your loaf of daily bread. Today's loaf of bread comes to us by way of my old friend, Marcus Aurelius. And he says the following: There are three kinds of people in this world. The first, when they help someone out, make it known that they expect something in return. The second would never be so bold, but in their mind, they know what they've done and consider the other person to be in their debt. The third, somehow, doesn't realize what they have done. But they're like the vine that bears its fruit and asks for nothing more than the pleasure of producing grapes. A horse gallops, a dog hunts, a bee makes honey. One person helps another, and the vine bears fruit in due season. You ought to be like that third person who does good without giving it a second thought. Well, folks, as I mentioned last time around, we're going to be diving into this idea of selfless action as it is represented in the Bhagavad Gita, the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and the Tao Te Ching. Clearly, today we're talking about the meditations and how Marcus Aurelius frames this idea. And as you'll notice, for him, it's almost like nature tells you what your reward is by giving you a function, right? And he cites these examples, like the horse that gallops and the vine that bears fruit. The metaphor that he uses and that I like to keep in mind is this image of the vine that bears fruit and asks for nothing in return except for the pleasure of making more grapes. You know what I mean? So I think part of it is like finding your thing and finding whatever makes you excited and passionate. But then on a deeper level, it's also about finding a way to look at everything in your life, all of the actions, all of the tasks and obligations and duties that you have through the same lens, right? If you think to yourself when you're doing the dishes, I fucking hate doing the dishes. God, I wish I didn't have to do the dishes. Then you're probably not going to have a great time and you're going to dread doing the dishes every day. But if you look at the dishes and you say, this is exactly like the vine, right? I have a dishwasher, therefore I have to load the dishwasher. It's part of my duty. Just like the vine was made to bear fruit, dishwashers are made to be loaded, and I own a dishwasher. Therefore, I have to play my part in this process, right? And there's no other reason to do it except that it has to be done, and you're the person to carry it out. Trying to frame all of the things in your life through this lens, in my experience, is extremely helpful and beneficial. You know, it really changes the texture of tasks that previously would have been mundane or even painful for me. You know, I spent the day painting. I don't know if you can see, but tried to get rid of most of it. And, you know, in the past, that would not have made me happy to spend most of a day off painting. But thanks to this, approach, I looked at it and I just zenned out. You know, it was a form of meditation. And it's not even doing it from a sense of duty. Like last episode's quote, it's really more of a place of service and taking pleasure in doing service, serving people, doing what I feel to be, the good work, whether it's loading the dishwasher or painting my oldest daughter's bedroom. I think this idea also connects to radical acceptance, right? When you embrace what you have to do instead of resisting and sort of framing it in a negative light, it just makes for a smooth ride. And that's what I'm into. So if you're into that too, maybe this will help. Maybe you can deploy it in your own life. And I'll keep talking about it for a few more episodes because it's a kind of a counterintuitive way to think. And so I want to approach it from many different angles. But luckily for us, I have many different angles to approach it from. So stay tuned. And until next time, live well, my friends.